to go through an exercise with me. So put on your CEO hat. Think like your CEO or top management for just a couple of minutes and think like they think, if you can. And I want you to identify the assets that are important to your company. Okay, I'll give a couple of examples, but you write down what you think is important to your company. Okay, so some examples are intellectual property, customer account information, employee information. If you're in healthcare, patient information, or if you're in finance or in retail, cardholder information. So those are the assets, the type of assets we're identifying here. And now I want you to identify the risks to these assets. Again, to your particular assets, I'll give some generic examples, and you jot down or think about the risks to these assets. The one that comes to mind for me is theft, or corruption, or image. And what I mean by image is reputation. What happens to your company's image or reputation if these assets are compromised? What if it gets out to the media and to your customers that your company's been compromised, and all this confidential information is now out there in the open? What sort of confidence will your customers have in your company? What are the risks to that? Are your customers going to stop doing business with you? Will you have difficulty obtaining new customers? What are the costs for remediation? Those are your risks. Now, identify, you can take off your CEO hat now and wear the hat or hats that you normally wear. And now identify the controls that mitigate the risks to these assets. So again, these are specific to your company. I'll give some generic examples. Web security, email security, firewall, and antivirus. Okay, those can be examples of some of the controls that you have in place. Now evaluate the efficacy of these controls. So let's say your web security solution, we'll start on a positive note and say that you're pretty satisfied with your web security solution. You think it does a good job. So we can, evaluate that one as good. Your email security, though, you're not sure. You got a couple of instances of ransomware last year, and you're pretty sure that the ransomware probably came through email. So that one you can say is insufficient. Then your firewall is an old firewall, maybe just a stateful firewall, and maybe it's at end of life and needs to be replaced. So we'll mark that one as poor. And your antivirus is just a point-in-time antivirus, the same type of antivirus that other customers that are commonly advertised out there. It just really has a list of what's bad and dropped, and then it lets through anything that's not marked as bad, and then it looks at it again. That's not really sufficient in today's day and age, so we'll count that one as insufficient. Now look back to your assets, and with all this in mind, evaluate how many remaining risks do you have. If all you had was a good, strong web security solution, but these other technologies were insufficient, we haven't even talked about access control or intrusion prevention, insider threats, or cloud security. So really, all of your assets are still at a good amount of risk. Have this discussion with your upper management and top management so they can agree with you on what your assets are and what these risks are. It can help you when you go to them with a proposal for security solution to justify, you're not just coming to them with a big purchase request and they say, why do I need to pay for this? I don't understand. Don't we already have web security? Don't we have antivirus? Don't we already have a firewall? We're protected, right? We don't need to invest in all this. So if you break it right down to assets and risks and what can happen if they choose not to go for your proposal, then it's not on you. They've taken some ownership in this as well.